Welcome to another episode of Unscripted Chronicles of Cuban cigar brands. Today I've decided to change the location from my living room, which is a nice change because I'm in beautiful Henley-on-Thames. I rode it here with a friend of mine. Here are our bikes, which was a beautiful ride. We took a scenic route, hour and a half from London. It's absolutely beautiful, great place to come. Today we're gonna talk about yet another cigar brand, and it is H.Upmann. H.Upmann was created in 1844. Why does it sound German, not Cuban? Because it was created by two German brothers, Hermann and August Upmann. There is a few theories why it's called H.Upmann. The main one, obviously, is because H is the initial of Hermann, and it's called after him. But if you look at it in the book, The Great Havana Factories, over there it says that they didn't want to fight, and actually H stands for Hermanos brothers. The first factory was based on Calle San Miguel number 85, and the business grew so rapidly that by 1874 they owned another factory at Calle Cuba number 64. 17 years later, a company bought a massive building on Calle Carlos III number 159. The factory was over 1,000 square meters, and it became known among the workers as La Madame. It's worth knowing that at that time the factory was still managed by Upmann family. Actually, Enrique Upmann was in charge of the company, and he was a nephew of one of the founders. The brand became known worldwide. We're talking Europe, USA, South America. The cigars were so good that in total they received 10 gold medals during the trade shows across the world. Production continued to increase, and even La Madame was not able to cope with a demand. So the company actually rented few of the workshops around Havana and outside. And the biggest and the most known was the one in the city of Calabazar, just 15 kilometers outside Havana. And that was built in 1905. Unfortunately, like all businesses, sometimes you have a good day, sometimes you have a bad days. For Upmann's, the bad day was the First World War. Unfortunately, due to their German heritage, all of their businesses were blacklisted. The bank and the shipping company went bust. They've managed to sell cigar factory to J. Francow Company, which was a British company, and that was the second brand owned by what is today sole distributor of Habanos in the UK. The brand was sold one more time in 1937 to Mendes Garcia Company, which happened to launch Monte Cristo brand 2 years before purchasing H.Upmann. The company put all the resources and marketing strategy into Monte Cristo, which became known worldwide in a very short period of time. That meant the Upmann was doing that meant the company was doing better than ever before. In 1944, Upmann factory was moved to Calle Amistad. Interestingly enough, that was the building directly behind the Partagas factory. After the revolution, the brand was nationalized by Cuban government and managed by state-owned Cuba Tobacco. The factory moved very briefly to the newest factory in Cuba, which is based on the 23rd Street in Vedado. That building happened to be the old Partagas cigarette factory. Unfortunately, that didn't last very long. They moved there in 2003, and that was the newest factory. And unfortunately, they had to move out again in 2011 when the factory was closed for refurbishment, which is undergoing till today. And the Upmann factory actually operates from Romeo and Julieta factory in Centro Havana. From the Vitolas that still exist today, I have a very soft spot for Magnum 50. It's a very important Vitola for that brand because it was the first ever non-global brand that was offered a limited edition. In 2005, Magnum 50 first came on the market as limited edition, and in 2008 it joined the regular production. Again, very important moment because that was the first regular production that Upmann had since pre-1960s. Every other Vitola was pre-1960. My favorite Upmann today, it's Sir Winston. It just reminds me of the discontinued monarchs that were absolutely great. I didn't get to smoke many of them, but whenever I had a chance, it was always a special moment. But we must not forget about very important vitola for this brand, which is what I'm smoking today. Little H.Upmann Half Corona. Why is that important cigar? Actually, this is the shortest cigar that Habanos has in its portfolio today. It's worth pointing out that Half Corona was not created by H.Upmann, but by the British distributor in 1907. In 1920s and 1930s, they used to sell more Half Corona Vitola than any other. H.Upmann cigars can be very easily distinguished by the flavors. It's pure tobacco flavor. There is no side aromas. I must say I was not a fan of Upmann at the beginning of my cigar journey. I tend to find them too spicy, too strong, but as my palate shifted towards full body cigar, I really enjoy a calm moment while smoking H.Upmann. This particular flavor had many fans among the well-known people. Most known out of all of them must have been JFK. There is a famous story where Pierre Salinger bought 1,200 Upmanns, Petit Upmanns, a night before Kennedy signed the embargo. If you don't know the story, you can look it up, that story here on YouTube, where Pierre Salinger himself tells the story. It's an amazing piece of cigar history. So there you are, guys. H.Upmann. I'm gonna keep this episode very short because I think last time we went way over 20 minutes, and I don't think many people have that much time to spend in their life, especially listening to me and looking at my ugly face. So I'm gonna end it here. Greetings from lovely... That wasn't lovely. This is lovely. Greetings from lovely Henley-on-Thames, and I'll see you next time when we're gonna be discussing my favorite brand of all of them, Partagas. Nos vemos.